Okay, now that you know how to measure angles, we're going to teach you some tricks of how to do it quickly. There's two things that we're going to learn here. We're going to learn complementary and supplementary angles. So, complementary angles and supplementary angles. I'm going to be talking about, whoops, let me do that again. I'm going to be talking about complementary angles first. Now, they both kind of mean the same thing, but they're a little bit different. Now, a complementary angle, move, whoops, sorry. I'm going to move him aside since we're going to be talking about complementary angles first. Okay? So a complementary angle means that I'm going to take an angle that is 90 degrees. Okay? So complementary angles start with angles that are 90 degrees. Now, let's say that I have a 90 degree angle, and inside that 90 degree angle, I draw an angle. So like this. So I know that this to this is exactly 90 degrees, but now I know that from this line to this line is exactly 40. So this angle is 40 degrees. Now, do I even need to measure what this angle is in order to figure it out? I shouldn't, because since I know that this entire area is exactly 90 degrees, and I've already taken 40 degrees out of it, what do you think the remaining angle is? Well, we can count. So since we're starting with 40, we can say, well, this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and that can give you the answer. Or we can say, well, I know the whole thing is 90 degrees. I've taken out 40 degrees. So if I start with 90 and take out 40, I have 50 left. So without even measuring, without even having to use a protractor, I know that this angle is 50 degrees. And that works every time. Let me show you just another example. So if we start again with a 90 degree angle, okay, and I say, okay, I want to do an angle that is right there. So how much is this angle to this angle? It is exactly 55 degrees. That is how much this angle is right here. So I want to know how much this angle is. Well, again, I can count, but now it's a little harder to count because I'm at a 5. So I can go 5, then 10, 25, like that. And that's hard to do. Or I can just do the subtraction method to say, well, I know that this entire thing right here is 90 degrees. So I started with 90. I took out 55. What is left? Ooh, no, look at that. That is terrible subtraction. Let's do that again. It is 35 degrees. Alright, I forgot to do my borrowing. Alright, so that's how that works. Okay, so those are complementary angles. Complementary angles always are dealing with right angles or 90 degree angles. Okay, so if we want to talk about supplementary angles, what is a supplementary angle? Well, again, I told you at the beginning it was similar, and it's very similar, except a supplementary angle is dealing with a straight line, or an angle that is, what is the angle of this line? It is 180 degrees. Okay, so any straight line is 180 degrees. So I know from this line to that line is exactly 180 degrees. So what happens if I take an angle and I say, oh, this angle is 60 degrees. So what is this angle going to be right here? From this line to this line. What is that angle? Well, I can do my counting method, or I can say, well, since I know that I have from one line to another line is 180 degrees, I can take the angle that I already have and subtract it, and I get 120. So this angle right here is exactly 120 degrees. All right, let me do one more. So again, we have our straight angle, or our angle that is 180 degrees. So there's 180 degrees. If I go right there, and that is, it's not quite to 80, as you can see, because 80 is right here. It looks like it's too short. So it would be 70, there's 75, 76, 77, 78. So this angle is 78 degrees. Okay, so what is this angle? Well, again, I know that this straight line is 180 degrees. And if I take 78 out of that, what do I get? I get 102. So this angle right here is 102 degrees. Okay? And it's very, very valuable stuff. So if I have like this angle right here, so here's a straight line, and here's a straight line. So I know that this line right here is 180 degrees, and this line right here is 180 degrees. Well, if I only give you one angle, if I tell you that this angle is 30 degrees, I should be able to figure out the other four angles. Because I can look right here, and here's a straight line, so I know that this one's 30, and that this one's going to be whatever's left over from 180. I can do it this way. I can say, well, this one's 30, so this one's going to be left over from 180. Or we can do what's called a reflexive angle, and say, anytime you see a cross like this, this angle and this angle are going to be exactly the same. And this angle and this angle are going to be exactly the same. Well, let's do it the long way. So if this is 30, what is this? Again, a straight line is 180. So if I take 180 and take away 30, I get 150. So that's 150. So now I know that this line right here is 180. So if I already have 150, what's left over? 180 minus 150, and we get 30. And again, we can do the same thing, and we're going to get 150 down here. So without having to measure, I should be able to do that really, really quick. So remember, complementary angles are 90-degree angles that we can figure out, and supplementary angles are 180-degree angles that we can figure out. All right?